format. It's a Google initiative which empowers women and other unrepresented groups to celebrate their achievements in the workplace and beyond. And this is something that we women are quite, I would say, shy of doing. So we don't want to celebrate ourselves. We don't want to put the spotlight on ourselves. So many of us struggle when it comes to talking about our own accomplishments. Cultural and especially gender modesty norms, as well as the imposter syndrome, can prevent anyone from acknowledging their remarkable attributes and expressing their achievements. So today's workshop, there are two primary goals. One is improve that self-promotion motivation and skills of women and underrepresented groups, and challenge the social perception around self-promotion. So in this workshop, we're going to learn the importance of self-promotion in your personal and your professional life, and also be equipped with the skills to do this. We are also going to be invited to challenge the social perception around self-promotion. So I will start with first self-promoting myself. Today we have tried out a new layout. I hope you all love it. What did you think of that? Our tech team was just like, wow, in that display. So Sipping Thoughts has been our baby for the last 4 years, and we reach over 10 million women on a monthly basis. And it has just been an incredible journey. A little bit more about me. I have been in the what I would say the media and the tech industry for the last 25 years, have loved every moment of it. And I'm so pleased to be joined by two amazing women today. I'm joined by Urvi Juneja, and I am joined by Achal. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. And they are such phenomenal women. But so first I will start with Urvi. She's a senior strategist. She has a multi-industry exposure in banking, in technology, and in aviation. She's worked in the UK, the US, and India, and has led the strategy functions at Citi, ICAP, and ADP in New York. She is currently the global transitions leader for the life sciences portfolio at Genpact, and leads digital-led transformations and transitions for life sciences customers. She's a firm believer of living a full life. She likes to venture out and get her arms around different things. Outside of Genpact, she is the chapter lead for Lean in India, which is a Sheryl Sandberg organization which supports women to achieve their career ambitions. She was invited by Sheryl herself to represent India at the Lean in Regional Leaders Meet. She's a fellow Chicago Booth graduate, and in addition, she holds a bachelor's degree in engineering and a master's degree in e-commerce. So wow. She's a mother to 2 young girls. She also trains in Pilates. Her hobbies include traveling around the world and trying out different cuisines. Amazing, Urvi. You inspire me all the time. And I would love, because today we're really going to talk about ourselves. So let's put in that energy. We want to hear your elevator pitches. So also please get prepared. Achal again, a stellar woman. Loved her. I've been knowing her now, I think, for about 3 to 4 years. She is the Lean In chapter lead and senior manager with Ernst & Young. It has more than 14 years of diverse work experience around transaction advisory services, private equity, and business consulting. In her current role as process transformation leader at Ernst & Young, she advises global clients on complex process improvement engagements and digital transformations. So I read all of that, but I hope Anshul is going to explain it to us, because I also had a little bit of difficulty understanding that. I don't know where she finds the time, but she's been the Lean In chapter lead for more than 5 years now, and has been instrumental in growing the chapter in India with programs such as Restart Your Career, which is aimed at helping women get back to corporate post-sabbatical, Launchpad to Corporate, a United Nations collaboration connecting young girls from Tier 2 cities with corporate mentors, and in Leaning In and Lifting Up, helping mid-level corporate women with professional coaching from industry leaders. She was also invited by Sheryl Sandberg, the founder of Lean In, a global not-for-profit, to represent India at the Global Lean In Summit in San Francisco. She, along with her husband, most important role, take care of her 11-year-old young daughter, Kaina, and spend quality time with her by indulging in some fun activities such as painting, dancing, shopping, and some bit of Instagramming. How can we resist Instagram? But lovely ladies, so excited to have you here, and I'm so excited to do this. So over to you, Urvi, and to Anchal. Tell us what we're going to do today.
Sure. Thank you, Security, for such a generous introduction. I am
I
flattered.
was
Thank you.
not being generous. I was just stating the facts.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about it more in just a moment. So, happy Women's Day, everyone. So excited to run this workshop for you as we celebrate us. I'll request my partner in crime, Achal, to just flash the deck for us as
Yes.
we get started.
I hope you're able to see my screen.
Not yet. Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Hey, give me a minute. Is it?
Yeah, we can see it now, Achal. If you can go to slide number 3. Thank you. What is I Am Remarkable? And as we talk about it, this is a Google initiative to represent us women and underrepresented groups of the community to speak openly about their accomplishments in the workplace and beyond, and thereby shattering the glass ceiling and breaking the norms that we put for ourselves. And as they say that the birds in the cage think flying is an illness, these are only the barriers, I would say, only set by us. So therefore, this is about removing those barriers, going all out and shattering the norms that we've set for ourselves. So as we move on to the next slide, what we are trying to achieve as part of this workshop, we want to go through a series of discussions to improve our self-promotion, motivation skills of us women, and again, groups of community. And we want to stir some thoughts, some status quo on the perception of self-promotion. And, of course, as we do this, we're going to throw a series of questions, and we would love to hear from you as we move on to those questions. And remember, so what do we think bragging is? For most of us, we think bragging is really, boasting about our accomplishments, about things that we've done. But in reality, that's not bragging if it's based on facts. So let this be set in stone in our mind, because as women, we often tend to not highlight our accomplishments, thinking it will be considered as bragging, it will be considered as boasting. So let that thought not bog you down, because accomplishments do not speak for themselves. And we are the spokesman of our own accomplishments because we are the
I'd love
CEO.
to hear from the audience too. So, what do they think about bragging and boasting versus telling their achievements? Would love to hear from you guys also on that thought that Urvi has just thrown out.
Yeah, we would like to see, what do you think about bragging, and have you even bragged about anything in your life? Would love to see your thoughts coming in there. I mean,
Lata says, yeah.
I know ever since I have attended this workshop, it's the perception about bragging has changed about me. You know, I talk about what I've done, and as long as it's facts based, I talk about it proudly with pride, and I just don't let that thought bog me down. So I
Lavina
see a
says,
lot of people,
yeah.
Aruna, Ishita saying, not really, Lavina, not really. Lata says, yes, she has. And she's been bragging about her food. So good to hear that. Uh, Sushmita says, yes, I do, but in a different way. Absolutely. You can have your own style of doing it. And, it could be a subtle way of doing it. It could be just in between the conversations. It could be in between the lines, so we can all have our unique style of doing this. And no, and so I see Shreya saying, no, bragging always has such a negative connotation, but that's the mindset we carry. That's how our brains have been wired, that bragging carries such a negative connotation. And that's what we are here to remove, those negative connotations, rewire our brains to really think differently so that we can brag. We can talk about our accomplishments, and as long as they're based on facts, remember, it's not bragging. And so Sonal says, seeing is believing, hence we got a show. Absolutely. Sujata says, yes, absolutely. So great, some great thoughts coming here. I see Suman saying actions speak louder than words. They do, but not many times people would end up noticing your action. Yes, they may get noticed louder than words, but sometimes you have to talk about them. What if you're sitting on the promotion table? You've been asked to present your case. You need to really put your act together, really put those accomplishments in front of the leadership, get your act together and talk about it. And that's not bragging. It's just putting facts together so that you can be a candidature of merit there. So I see Jhansi D'Souza saying, no, not bragging, but take pride in making it known if I've accomplished something. Absolutely. I can't agree more. Absolutely. So with that, I'll come on to our next question. I want to see, what have you bragged about in life? I know I saw somebody saying bragging about food. Can you lay down what you really bragged about in life and how you've done it? Would really love to see your thoughts here.
I think I was just bragging to all you guys just a little while ago. So I'll start the discussion about how I am this tech whiz.
Yeah. And did we think, was it bragging or was it really stating out accomplishments? Did we really thought about it as bragging? I mean, I would love to hear that from people.
I bragged a lot, Urvi, when I was invited by Cheryl. So my family, my whole circle knew about that Cheryl has invited us for a trip to Lean In. I mean,
Yes.
That's one of the most accomplished achievements I've bragged about all my life in the last 3.5 years.
Absolutely. So I see some interesting comments here. Neeta says, I said in senior citizens group picnic, I'm going to sing, though I'm not a singer. And then in next picnic, I danced on my small aerobic style dance. If it's bragging, no, it's my accomplishments. Absolutely. It can be these little things that, make us outshine, Absolutely. It can be our, I take pride in doing my Pilates classes. It's my fun moment of the week. I just love it. And I really talk about it all the time, So I see Aruna saying, stating out, Sushmita again saying, I think the word bragging can be rephrased. What should it be rephrased to? Would love to hear your thoughts, Sushmita, here.
No, it's interesting because that's an interesting one because the word itself, I think, is so loaded. When we say speak positively about yourself, it's okay. But as soon as we say brag about yourself, you feel, oh.
Yeah. It's been taken as showing off, just talking about it just to let people know that you've done something. And, a lot of people think, hey, she's talking about all of this as if we don't understand, and a lot of our brains are wired to think that way, but we really should not shy away a bit to talk about it. We women don't give ourselves credit for what we do day in, day out. We take care of our kids, we manage routine without any breaks on the weekend, we get to our work schedule, and then, we do our other hobbies or activities that we want to get to. Managing all of that, the chores and everything is really one heck of a task, and doing that without a break and not bragging about it and not talking about it, I think kudos to us women, So Neeta says, I definitely bragged when I completed my marathon run because most people won't have believed of me. Absolutely. Yes, it's indeed an accomplishment. So Sukirti says, would love to hear your thoughts on what we name bragging to. Yes, breaking the notion takes time. If one has that much time, please spread the word around. But that onus lies with us. It's us women who need to change that perception, that mindset, because if we think that way, then of course the perception is that the rest of the world is also thinking that way. Subhashini says, I brag about writing my first children's book. Absolutely, and you should be really proud of that. Shreya, as a mom of 1-year-old, I brag about my fitness routine to anyone who will listen. Yes, with all the crazy schedule, nursing, sleepless nights, being on top of the 1-year-old's routine, managing the other chores in the house, and having a fitness routine is indeed a matter of accomplishment. So with this, I want to invite, 2 people, please raise your hands to come and talk about that experience where you really talked about your accomplishments with pride and not thinking it was bragging, So please raise your hands, we would love to hear from you, how you did this, or if you thought about it as bragging, what would you do differently about it? So love to hear from you. Please raise your hands. I have Neeta.
1 second. I'm just going to unmute her. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Neeta, I would request if you can give a quick one-liner introduction before you talk about how you talked about your accomplishments.
Neeta, I'm asking you to unmute.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Neeta.
Shetty. Hi. It's great to be here. Thank you for letting me speak. So I'm a therapist, and this I learned much later in life. So I work in the complementary therapy area, and I learned this, or I came into this probably about 7 years ago when I was pretty much, much older than what most people would think one would be to be a therapist, or to take up any new skill. So I must say that I have spoken about this in many, many places, especially when I have to introduce myself, or, reintroduce myself to people. I'm really proud of myself for having done it. The idea here, and also for that matter, when I said that I had done my marathon, the idea here was not to show off. The bragging, I think, which you're talking about, is to encourage others to also take it up, and not believe that, there are limitations to age or time, or it's really up to you. What are the possibilities that you have? How do you want to utilize that? I think, to me, that is very important, and I always want to put that across. And that's why a lot of times my Facebook account also used to have things about this. So I just want to encourage more people to look at, for example, travel. It's something that I love to do. It's not bragging when I put a picture. I may have just gone to a Alvar, yaar, but the idea is, look at these options. You're living in Delhi, it's a few hours from Delhi, you can go there, explore the place, get to know the place. So I try and encourage people to do it, especially my friends and people, women, I think, because men mostly don't need that at all. They are just given, the same from whatever the society or whatever.
I think
Women
it
just
comes to
need
them
a lot
naturally,
more.
they just
Yeah,
don't
it just
hesitate.
comes
We but
naturally, or
yeah,
even the way I think men are brought up, they're just allowed to do a lot more. I think that allowance which is there. So what about us allowing ourselves to be, brag about ourselves or talk about what we've done? So just that.
yes.
Thank you.
Great thoughts, Neeta. Thank you for sharing those. Love it. Absolutely. With this, I also want to invite Shreya to share some of her thoughts. Thanks, Neeta.
Thanks for having me. And I agree with what Neeta was saying earlier as well, and echoing what I wrote in the chat as well. So I have a 1 year old, and I, pre-birth I was very active, and I kind of lost all of that after the birth of my son. So 6 months in, I really got into fitness, and really started working out about 4 to 5 times a week. And then now it's almost, it's 6 times a week right now, and I love that. And with work and everything else that's going on, it gives me great pride in the fact that I can work out 6 days a week. And I love talking about it because I see people around me making excuses, and not just women, even men around me making excuses about, oh, I don't have time to work out. And the reason for me bragging or even talking about this is to say that, look, these are just self-imposed restrictions on yourselves and your time. You can do anything. If I can do it, you can do it. And I feel like I need to step up and say something at that time, because otherwise people will just make excuses. And it gives me great pride to brag about it. And in some way, if I can inspire someone, then that's good.
Absolutely. Can't agree more. Can't agree more. I think, as you're saying, it's totally a mindset game. It's what we really want out of our lives and how we perceive it. If fitness is really on top of our priority list, we will make time for it and talk about it, because we've started living and breathing that. And I say it so passionately because I've become a little fitness enthusiast over last 3 years, and I just love the feeling. So I co-share those thoughts with you. Absolutely. Thanks, Neeta. So with this, I want to, we will take more speakers in just a moment. I will hand over to Achal for next part of the workshop, where we talk about, how we think we are remarkable and what we can do to really highlight and, again, think differently about it. So over to you, Achal.
Thanks, Urvi. Happy Women's Day, everyone. So, in the context of what we've just heard, I think from an accomplishment standpoint, a very senior leader once told me that accomplishments are non-living things. They do not, or they cannot actually talk for themselves, and they need people. They need people like us, or women, or underrepresented groups, to actually go and talk about what they've done. So, it's very simple. If you are one of those who feel that I've done my hard work, I've done my share of it, and it'll get noticed, sorry to say, but there are ways to actually go and talk about your accomplishments at the right platform, so that the right people get to know it. And like you're just seeing right now on the screen, researchers have shown that people, or women, or underrepresented groups who do not go and talk about their achievements, they actually lag behind their promoting peers. So, if you've got a seat at the table, you've got to make use of it, because if you don't, someone else is going to, hijack that, agenda, or run it the way they want to. Simply stating, like what Urvi was just mentioning, that um, uh, at times it happens that women do not self-promote, and that's conditioned at times because we feel it will get taken care of. So, I'll just show you a statistic on the next slide, and it's a very intriguing one, that men who applied for a promotion, even though, they thought it's just 60% of the criteria they've met, they'll get it. Women, on the other hand, unless and until you feel like a 10 on 10, that all the ticks which are needed, I fill all of them, that is where, I feel confident, I feel I'm for the right. And I'm sure there are a lot of us in this group here, including myself, I've felt that if I'm not a 10 on 10 on an engagement or a project, or maybe an interview or a JD, I don't fit the bill. And that's just an extension of the, imposter syndrome, which we've been talking about. And that is where I feel that chain of thought needs to be broken. And it's not easy. So if you go to the next slide, Urvi, if you see there, women specifically, and both men and women, they do not like women who want to, self-promote themselves. So it's not easy. And that is why we have workshops like I'm Remarkable. And there are many other, such available, where we want to establish that fact that you've got to break that stereotype. It's okay. It's okay to tell about your achievements, your accomplishments, the right set of people to tell them what you've done. Otherwise, nobody's going to take care of that, and nobody's going to help us reach where we want to go. So that was just the context setting in terms of what we've been talking about. So a small exercise, what we can do right now is start thinking about, why do you feel you are remarkable? What makes you feel, maybe one liner, that over the years you've done so many things, but one thing which strikes out with any of you, just write that in the chat window, so that we can at least share and know how many I am remarkable women that we have in this forum today. Anything which you feel you've done differently, you want to really talk about, or maybe boast about here, because oh my God, Sukriti, you already have that. Yes, I totally believe in that. Sumita is saying, I'm the best in what I do and no one else. So nobody is my peer. I'm my own, self-competition. And that's how I am remarkable. Oh, wow. Have faith in myself. That's, I think, the most, having faith and trust, belief. Nobody can take that from you. As I'm happy, oh my God, I'm so impressed. I'm feeling so good that, we have these women who feel that we all are remarkable, and we need to talk about that with the wider people out there. Dolly, I'm remarkable because I've been independent, working, single mother since past 5 years, and you never knew that you were capable of it. I'm sure, because I have seen so many women not even think about it, that they've been doing so many things in the background in our unconscious mind. We never realize that we are actually managing like five people's jobs at the same time. Shubhanshi, I'm remarkable because I'm perseverant and resilient. Oh my God. Yes. Uri, I know you very well, so I totally am with you, living a full life. I totally connect with you. At 50, Suman says, and I'm starting to write with my left hand just to see what it does to my right brain. I read this about someone else as well, that people are taking up those challenges which they never thought of in their entire life. The balancing. Oh, women are actually, good jugglers, if I say. The way we manage house, kids, office, and fitness as well, which is now coming in a lot of our discussions these days. Wow. Thanks. Oh my God, Khushu.
A pause here, and I want to introduce a remarkable man also. So,
oh my God.
because we do know we are all remarkable women. But I want to introduce a very remarkable man. I want to introduce Anurag Batra. You all know him. He is the chairman and editor-in-chief of BW Business World. It's a fortnightly magazine, and it was launched more than 3 decades ago. It's among India's largest and most respected business magazines. And it prides itself in discovering and spotting the key trends, and it has done so consistently over the decades. And Anurag himself, and I can say this personally, and I think Lee Nin can also say it, is a big supporter of women. He has supported us. He has supported so many women-led initiatives, from award ceremonies that he does to highlighting women entrepreneurs. He has been instrumental in making sure that women are seen, spotlighted, and ensure that we can see that we are remarkable. So Anurag, I would love for you to say a few words.
Thank you so much. I don't support anyone. They're really independent. They do well. She's just being kind, and kindness is the biggest attribute. If I am at the receiving end of kindness from a lot of people, that's why I'm here. And definitely, a lot of women have played a role in my growth, especially my mom, my sister, my maslis. A lot of my colleagues of leaders who worked with me for a long, who's worked 19th year working with me. Out of my 5 editors, in exchange for media, 4 are women. Uh, um, the top editorial leadership team at BW is all women. Out of the 11 business heads, 7 are women. So, I am at the receiving end of expertise and kindness from a lot of people, including women. So I just would like to say, these days I get a compliment, oh, your daughter's written a book, she's like you, she's following your footsteps. And honestly, I said to my daughter last night that it's the other way around. I want to write a book, I want to follow your footsteps, and you make me look good, which is something I've said to her privately. So it's not a good statement that I really make. I see her handwriting. It is calligraphic, her sincerity, her sensitivity. So I think I am just blessed, and I would say on the occasion of we should do these events a lot more. I know thanks to Sukirti, I met Ruhi, I know Achal, and they do great work for the women community in terms of building mentorship, bringing knowledge, ideas, insights, the networking, all of it together. But I want to say that, I just met 2 women entrepreneurs just before this. I'd gone for a wedding of my Muboli sister, and I had a traumatic morning because my car met up with an accident in the morning, and luckily me and my driver were unscathed, but the guy who hit us got minor injuries. He's also doing okay. I took him, but I want to tell you that I was telling these 2 women entrepreneurs who dropped me to my office just now. I was going to take an Uber. I took an Uber and went because, of course, my car was not in the position to be driven. And they were asking me about how come your office has so many women? And I said, I don't look at like I have to hire a woman. I look at good candidates, and luckily we have too many. And I've never taken a count. I've never even looked at, but I just realized out of the 130 people, 76 are women in business world. Right? I have not done a count of the 180 in one E4M, but I would say maybe 80, 90 are women. So they asked me, so what is is there a difference? This is 10 minutes before. I said, I can tell you 3 things about women. Again, I hate stereotyping any gender, anybody. But 3 things of my experience are, wow, women are much more focused while they do multitask, but they do because they're much more focused. They're much more in the moment, mindful. Second is they're much more sensitive. And third is they get distracted less. They're human beings, so zero to kisi ka nahi ho sakta. Right? But this is my own assessment, and I say it from a good place. These days you don't know who gets upset with what, right? But I say it from a good place, and I can only say that we should do these more often, and hopefully do them face to face in a physical setting. And I'm sure Sukirti, Urvi, Anchal, we all will collaborate to bring all of you together, and look forward to celebrating. All our communities at BW Business World are celebrating women leaders today and tomorrow in various communities. And tomorrow we announce our most influential women list, which is a issue that will be available in stands. This is the month we also do our visa, both Sukirti and Urvi are on the jury, which is a Women Entrepreneurship Summit and Awards. Of course, we do it in March because we believe at least that's 1 month we highlight. But we'd like to do something for the rural women, for the tier 2, tier 3 cities. And luckily, the internet and digital helps you engage. So we'll do much more together. That's what I'll say. And I hope I can learn from all the fantastic women around me. And I'm blessed and delighted to be here. That's what I'd say.
Thank you, Anurag. Thank you. Always motivating. And I will let Urvi and Anchal also give their thoughts.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anurag. You, as always, you've been a tremendous pillar of strength. We've done, so many things together, and I only have good things to say about you with the way it is and the way you have directly, indirectly sort of rendered support to get us to the wider reach, to do the messaging, to sort of help other women come on board, empower them in, in your own ways. So I can just say it's always been beautiful, and we get a lot of energy from these actions and events. So thank you.
Thanks, Anurag. I think what all Urvi has already mentioned, truly remarkable. I can, just relate to that. And definitely your vision on rural women, tier 2 cities is absolutely bang on, because we also have been thinking on the same lines from a lean-in perspective, where we have touched a lot of our metropolitan women here, but definitely the next in line is the tier 2 cities, where we really want to see how we can help them up the game. Something similar to what we're doing here. We would want to actually see how we can make them more empowering than what they are right now. So we are, in the game with you on all these great and remarkable initiatives that you have planned for. Thank you.
Okay, we're getting some
Just-
amazing responses also.
Thank you for your kindness. And thanks to your forums, I've also met some fantastic people, women leaders. I met, I'm right now, I'm coming back to civilization from my morning shop. I know Ms. Agarwal, she runs this mindfulness resort in somewhere in Uttaranchal. I met her first at your forum.
Yes.
I know her, I know her well, but right now, as I said, I'm coming back. I had a little eventful morning, so
I will come back to that. Truly remarkable. Thank you, Anurag. And I think we're getting a lot of responses, I think, in the chat also.
Yes.
Swati.
And
Overwhelming.
I'm talking to Swati Agarwal.
Yes. I think we met her, right.
At the first forum, and then,
Yep.
So I met 1 or 2 other people, which I'm not being able to think name. But, I met some very, very, very big believers in what you do as a group, and, really on their own doing some fantastic things.
Thank you. Thanks, Anurag.
sure. Yeah.
So overwhelming response that we have on why we are remarkable. So maybe, can I invite maybe 2 people from this forum to actually talk about what make them, different from others, and what is so remarkable that it's important for the others here to actually have hear from them that how have they reached there and what makes them, tick on the remarkable index. Maybe if you can raise your hands, and Sukirti, if you could help us.
Neeta is already unmuted. Neeta, go ahead. And anybody else that would love to, we would love to see all the hands raised, because honestly, every single woman here is remarkable,
Yes.
So Dolly, I'm unmuting you because, honestly, I think sometimes what happens, and the first time I did this, when you start writing it down, you begin to realize how many things you do that makes you remarkable. But go ahead, Dolly, love to hear from you.
Thank you. I'm Dolly Bhasin. I'm remarkable because I'm actually taken up a challenge to really empower women and youth to start innovating and preparing them for the future of work. Work is not going to be done in the manner it has been done for years. It is going to completely change. And over the last 5 years, I've been helping women and youth to really come in terms to really understand how it is going to impact them. And the pandemic has shown that the kind of resilience that was built with the women and the youth that I've worked with, they've actually done very exceedingly well. So this is a platform that I'm creating called SmartEdge, which is doing this. And over the last 5 years, done almost about 10,000 youth and women.
Wow. That is
Amazing.
remarkable.
Kudos, because that's a genuine cause that you've aligned to. And I'm sure there's a long way and a lot of experiences there.
Zaiba is next. Zaiba, I'm asking you to unmute. There's also Sonal Singh.
Hi, should I go first?
Go ahead, Sonal, yes.
Yeah, so I believe all of us are remarkable, and I'm in the business of corporate communications. I handle communications for the Jindal Stainless Group. So I am in the business of publicity, of managing publicity for a company and its leaders. So I know how important it is to do PR about what you're doing. You know, I come from the land of Bihar, where there is a popular saying which says, "Jhunjhuna hobala se na chalela, bajavahu ke padela," which means just having the instrument is not enough. You've got to ring it as well. So here's to cheer, a great cheer for this session. Thank you. It was very good. And thank you so much for organizing it.
Absolutely, our pleasure, Sonal. And I totally agree with you. If you do not, your platform, if it doesn't speak for yourself, then nobody else is going to hear that. So we got to ring the bell.
Dolly, go ahead.
Yeah, hello. First of all, this is wonderful to see around 86 powerful, remarkable women gathering for this afternoon today. And I'm really very charged right now to tell you something about myself. So I feel that what has turned me remarkable over the couple of past few years is that I am on board a Cherie Blair mentoring program as a mentor and mentoring a woman who is in a different continent in Africa, sitting in Lagos, trying to make a small enterprise of herself at home. And I never thought I was capable of assisting someone or helping or being that support to kind of, take them, steer their enterprise to all the different challenges. And then that's something that I've achieved in the past 1 year. And truly, from all the things that I've achieved business-wise, work-wise, personally, I think this is one of the most special achievements for the past 1 year that I have, is trying to be there for someone and helping be the hand that's holding, somebody to their enterprise journey. So yes.
Very touching, Dolly, that you've actually gone, overseas to make an impact, with someone in Africa, and that's exactly the value that you're helping her add to her life, life goals maybe.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll also read out some of the responses. Kuhu says, sometimes I feel nervous and unsure about myself, but I still stand up and try to take the next step. And I feel that's remarkable. That definitely is, having that courage, is definitely, and that's the spirit of remarkability. And Shanta is asking, we have to basically blow our own trumpet. So true, so true. And Anchal says, absolutely, because no one else will. So we've got Neeta. Go ahead, Neeta. And Zaiba, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Should I go first?
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's so good to be with Sukriti and this platform. It's always, always overwhelming. So, after the pandemic and before the pandemic also, I used to think that I should work with the slum kids or maybe some women who cannot read and write properly. So, because I was in a teaching profession and then became vice principal and principal, but because being a neuro patient in the house, I couldn't get out, or I couldn't devote so much of time to these things. So I was just getting into this myself depressed and lonely, and all these things was happening. So I put myself as a student in a theater classes 5 years back, and then I became a student, and I started, acting, and with the small kids like 20 years old. So in earlier days, in first few classes, I was so shy. So my teacher said, I know you are a senior person and you think that you are so and so, and how will you shed your this all this shyness and all these things. So when you remove your shoes outside, when you enter the class, you forget what you were, and now just get into the class and just become a student and just start acting like anybody else. And so I did that, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And but in the pandemic, it was like a full stop there. And then I started again. I joined the Asmita group, and then I'm again back to the student life and enjoying so much. Being a 60 years old, and then seeing the 20 years old acting in with me, and we become partners in one act, and we become like a fellow actors, and it's so overwhelming and so exciting. So yeah, so I feel like now I'm a remarkable again. So thank you so much for listening me.
So we see the excitement in you, and I can just say that it's about being in the moment. And I think you've truly lived those moments. So fantastic.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and then we'll take some more. We've got Sonal, Zaiva, and Subhashini. We have not forgotten. We are going to come back.
Okay, so I'll start. Hi, good evening, everyone. Myself, Zeba Sarang. I'm co-founder of I Think Logistics. So what I believe as a woman, we all are, being a woman itself a remarkable thing. Then too, I would like to share my own journey where I can call myself as a remarkable, where it is about my entrepreneurship journey. I've started my entrepreneurship at the age of 21 in 2011 with my 5 co-founders, and I was the only female founder in it. And now we are a team of 160 people making remarkable things in the logistic industry. So I believe having a power of woman, or being a woman, I was able to lead the team and take this company to this extent. And with the dedication of women and the empathy I believe a woman have in it, makes a company growth on the next level, and take this things to the remarkable part of the journey. Yes, that's about me.
Great, Zaiba. Great story. We love to hear about such remarkable moment. You've indeed made a mark from really doing it from scratch to sort of getting to an organization that's 160 people strong today. So kudos to you and more power to you.
Thank you. And Uri, one more point. Like I came from a very low financial background, where in fact, I got a scholarship to complete my education, and I came from a Urdu medium schooling. So in fact, I was not even knowing how to speak in English with a customer or with our team, in fact. And with this journey, I have learned a lot, and I believe it's a continuous process.
Absolutely. So continue to be remarkable. Loved it. Totally. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much.
So we have Subhashini next.
Yeah, hi everybody. Really great to be part of this group here and be able to participate. So I am a software engineer. I hold a master's degree, and I've been in the software industry for about 16, 17 years. And for a very long time, I was with IBM Product Labs in the US and then in India also. And when I was pregnant with my second child, I wanted to take a role that would be less intense. I wanted a part-time position, and I tried within IBM and within some of the other, bigger MNCs, but it never worked out. People were frowning on, part-time positions, and I really wanted to give some space and time to my second child after having, worked throughout my pregnancy and through raising my first one. I really felt like I wanted to still contribute, but I wanted to take a less intense role. And around the same time, I started volunteering for a nonprofit in Bangalore called Akshara Foundation. And they were at a point where they wanted to build out their technology platform to help government public schools and foundational numeracy in government public schools in primary school children, classes 4, 5, and 6. And being a non-profit, they were more open to part-time positions. And I took a big leap. On the final month of my pregnancy, I said, I'll join your team if you are okay with it. And I will work with you, but I'll do it part-time on my own terms. And they were very supportive. So I joined Akshara. And there were many people who warned me that, you have such a great career and you can go places. Why do you want to leave, IBM and all these fantastic things you've done here, including my manager at IBM? And they said, why don't you just work with it, take 4 months off, come back, etc., etc. But somehow I felt like that was a leap I wanted to take. And I was very passionate about education and helping nonprofits. So I did do that. I jumped off of the corporate career. I went to the nonprofit where I was there for 7 years. I worked for them for 7 years. I built their tech platform, and they made a great success out of all the programs that they were running. I was very happy to be part of that. And at the age of 40, I decided, okay, now I'm ready. My kids are grown. I want to come back into the corporate world. And again, I heard a lot of naysayers, saying, this is not going to be possible. Your resume is going to go against you, and so on and so forth. But I did do it. Now I'm back in an early stage startup. I'm an architect with them. And I feel like a lot of women need to hear this story, because even amongst my friends and family, people keep saying, if I step off this escalator, am I going to be able to get back on? Is it going to be possible? Or have I just ruined my entire career? To all of you who are struggling with those kinds of decisions, it is possible. It depends on your confidence level and what you're willing to give. And it is possible. And you can get back on, and you can still make a success of yourself when you choose to, go back to full time. And maybe I'm not, I don't have a fancy title like some of my peers, but that's okay with me. And, I love what I do. So I just wanted to share this. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I'm sure a lot of us here would have got some good reinforcement about the fact that, yes, we can do it. It's just about taking the right decision at the right time. I think it just works out well. Have faith, have passion. That's a great mixture. That's a secret sauce maybe that can take you to places. So thanks for that, Shumaji.
Yeah, amazing. Such great thoughts, such great stories. I'm in awe of you, ladies. I'm absolutely loving this. So keep this coming. We have Bhanumati. Go ahead, Bhanumati, all yours. We'd love to hear you.
Hi all. Good evening. It's very nice to hear all the inspirational stories of each one of you. Mine, I wanted to tell, I have worked in Canara Bank for 30 years. And I took voluntary. When I took voluntary, my my colleagues all were telling me, already you are plumpy and you are going to be fat again sitting at home. Still I had 7 years service, and all my colleagues were they made fun of me, discouraging me like that. And I said, no, I will not. I'm not going to sit. I will be be doing some other works, whatever I feel like doing. I like singing. I like learning Carnatic music, and everything I wanted to do, whatever I wanted to do in my early stages. And now I will continue like that. And then I wrote an exam, and I passed in that insurance IRDA. And now I'm manager in one of the big companies. And I have achieved grand slamming this thing also. Whatever 70 lakhs, up to 70 to 80 lakhs, I have done the job, bringing business to the company. And thrice I have gone to foreign, Moscow and Thailand twice. So this is my achievement, and I wanted to share this. Thank you for your listening.
Very impressive, Bhanumati. I mean, age is just a number. You've just proved that at any point in time, we can take up anything. It's just the passion that we need to have. So very, very impressed with that, Bhanumati. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. At this point, we wanted to see, if you have any questions, comments, feelings. We want to happy to answer, hear your thoughts, share anything that you would want to hear. So any questions at this point?
I'd like to ask you guys a question. Is there, when we put together like this, I am remarkable, and we think about it as people put in their questions, any tip for how to tell your story so you don't feel like you're bragging?
So again, I just, at least that's my own style, and there are no rules set here for the game. I feel it's how you want to do it. So for me, it's about, I weave it into a story, and as I'm talking about myself, I talk about some things that happened, and that would just highlight the accomplishments or some recent accomplishments that I've had as part of it. And, just try and have this out in the form of a story, so it doesn't sound like bragging, if you will, and it'll sound as, okay, you've done this as part of your day-to-day life or your day-to-day job or some things that you've been meaning to do. So that's just my way of doing this. Weave this into a story, call it out, and let this be part of a normal conversation. And then, people recognize that being is your style, and therefore do not, treat that as a show off or, a boasting or whatever people may treat it. But I continue to weave that as part of my daily stories. That's how I do it.
And just adding to what Urvi said, if we are able to bring in some tangible output of what we've done, if you have a number or if you talk about the impact that you've made, I think that hits very well with the audience. So it's just not about 6,000 feet above the surface that we're talking about, but this is what the impact that I've been able to make, and that actually changes the perception a lot. I've used that many a times.
No, and two places where I think it's absolutely necessary to brag, and especially I want to say that because NDA reviews are coming up. So any tips? Because this is one place where you actually need to be there and be at your A game. So I would love to get some tips from you, and then over to Soumya.
Absolutely. So I've actually been through my appraisal process last week, and here's what I did. So I actually, to prep myself, I put all of my accomplishments down on a piece of paper. And, when the whole thing started, of course, after listening to my manager, I actually just in a story format, I actually listed out all of those accomplishments, to Archil's point, with some quantified benefits and metrics that have come out of it, to really call out that I was on top of my game for the entire year. And, every minutest detail was called out in such a subtle fashion that, I know it was noted. So again, prep yourself well, and don't think any accomplishment is too big or too small. If you think it's worth calling out, do call it out. Because for you, it may be something small, but for them, it may have meant something very big at their end of the world. So every minutest detail that you think may be relevant should be called out. Yeah, my 2 cents. Okay, with this, I know we see a lot of hands raised.
Soumya, go ahead.
Yeah.
Good evening to all of the beautiful ladies. And advanced happy Women's Day. So actually, when I am new to sipping thoughts, I'm a housewife. So I have taken a breakup after my second child. So in the last pandemic, every seminar I attended with free. So that is a great opportunity, especially for the housewives. By sitting at home, we are able to see all the beautiful achievers, all the gentle women. So I'm very proud of Sipping Thoughts. So after that, I started my career as an online teacher. So last 6 months, I'm very happy. So Sipping Thoughts is a backbone for me. So in last Women's Day, I decided myself I want to speak in the Sipping Thoughts webinar. So today I achieved that. So I'm feeling proud of all of you. So now I'm in this position because all of you only. So this is a great opportunity, especially for the housewives who are unable to do all the things, right, sitting at the home. But by this Sipping Thoughts, we are able to do everything and anything by sitting at home. So just I want to share these things.
You're going to make me cry.
So this is
so empowering. So
words are my deep from heart.
Thank you
Not
so,
from the
so
throat. These words are from my heart. I'm waiting for since 1 year. I want to speak. So now I'm able to speak in front of all of you. So I'm a little bit in front of all of you. But now I got the opportunity and I got the willpower by seeing you, by hearing you. So I'm proud of myself because of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Truly
Soumya.
remarkable
Thank
for
you
that.
so
We
much.
love you.
In every webinar, I never switch on my camera. So today I'm able to switch on my camera. I can speak in front of all of you, the beautiful, great achievers.
You are one of us.
We're all
Soumya.
remarkable.
You are one of us.
Yes, we're
So
all
much,
amazing.
One and all you. I cannot speak about all names, but I'm very thankful to Sipping Thoughts.
Thank you so, so much. Reena, we would love to hear from you. Sorry, Soumya.
Yeah, is there anyone else who would want to go?
Reena wanted to. Yeah, Reena, go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I hope this
Soumya.
will continue and you will reach a lot and lot throughout the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
I think I'm crying. Reena, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's really very inspiring hearing every one of yours inspiring stories. I have a small question. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Reena Joshi, basically currently from Ahmedabad. I'm a chartered accountant and I'm taking a break right now. So what my question is, like what sir has also mentioned, that going to the tier 2 cities are important. Currently, I'm not finding any lean-in circle in Ahmedabad, and I belong to Rajkot. So for Rajkot also, is there any opportunity where we can collect more female leaders or remarkable or potentially remarkable people, and we can blow our trumpets together? Looking forward to more opportunities in these cities.
You can, Reena, anytime, you can get in touch with Urvi or myself, and we can help you set up your own lean-in circle in Ahmedabad, where you can get a remarkable group of women together and, take that forward from a lean-in philosophy perspective. So that's very much possible.
Surely,
and you can be the facilitator for this one.
Yes.
So you can really be the champion leading the show on that one. So
Would
happy
love to if it's possible.
Yes,
We'll
it
connect
is.
back in.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. I know we're getting lots of hands raised, and I'm also mindful of the time. So would love to get as many people. Dolly, did you have a question? Please go ahead.
Well, I don't really have a question. I just want to applaud Soumya for whatever she's achieved through the support of this particular group. And as we always know, the challenge for somebody to start from 0 to 100 is always bigger than somebody who started at 80 to 100 or 90 to 100. So the person that starts from 0, we know the kind of resilience or perseverance that it takes, the kind of courage, and they do become an example for a lot of other women, a lot of other people. That's one thing. And another thing is, as we were talking about appraisal, I had a question for the women who are entrepreneurs. For them, the challenge of ensuring that they get worth their skills and capabilities and talent or hard work that they give in. So that's something I think a lot of women entrepreneurs, because I'm also running my own communications agency, my own boutique agency in Mumbai. And I know it gets really difficult because for clients, they really think that women hai to itna bhi diya to bahut hai uske liye, So, I mean, a woman entrepreneur, what she needs, she's just doing this for her, hobby, or she doesn't have any bills to pay. So I think a lot of times we need to put our foot down and make them realize that our cars also need fuel and they don't run on water. So yes, I think, yeah, and I don't really have any questions. I'm just happy Women's Day to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anu has been very patient. Anu, please go ahead. We can't hear you. I'm asking you to unmute.
Actually, I did. Now you can hear me? Yes. So I've been listening to some of these young entrepreneurs, and it's very fascinating and also a big learning for me. Although I am a person who started a business maybe 25 years ago, I would call myself more like an entrepreneur who started working in when I was 2 years old. That's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. So my reason for coming in between and telling you is that there's really no age to entrepreneurship. There's really no age to start doing a startup. And I am 63 now, but I feel a couple of things which I definitely want to share with all you young entrepreneurs is that, I had a very difficult marriage and I came out of it because I married very early. So I had 2 small children. And when I came out of it, I really didn't have a professional degree behind me. So like I hear some of you saying that you are engineers and, you have done whatever education you have done. So that's fantastic, because I always say that, women, when they are educated, then they don't have to go through any of the nonsense which life can throw at you, So I started very late, like I told you, but the 3 things which I feel which stayed with me was one, that success in life, it demands a purpose. And for me, my purpose was my 2 small children. So I took them into school. I didn't have child support, so all of that. So today, in 2016, I was chosen by Vicky Flo as one of the 3 women entrepreneurs from India and taken to Brussels, along with some of the top names in the industry. So that was the point of time where from 2016, I never looked back, in the sense that before that, I would never talk about the struggles of my life. But after that, since the past 5 years, I feel I am almost eager to jump in and tell people, what I went through. And yet, I navigated my journey, and I feel that it took determination and dedication to restructure my thinking from a victim mind to a powerful mind. So that's my sharing with you on Women's Day. And I'm a mentor with Nexus. I'm a mentor with IIT startups. If at any point of time, any of you who are in the entrepreneurship journey, Sukriti, Urvi,
I think I'm going to take you up.
Yeah, so you are most welcome, because these days also I'm actually mentoring a couple of people who are doing startups. So you can, connect to me. I can, Urvi, I don't know how to let others know, but they can always.
Yeah, we'll let people know.
Awesome. I know that you ladies
Come to me for whatever is share with you that and so let me know how I have to connect, but I'll put my email here so you can reach out to me, anybody. And I run 3A Clothing. I'm the managing director. If you Google me, you will know a little bit more about me. I'll be most happy and humbled to help. Thank you.
And I love the way you called out your accomplishments. I just loved it, the way you weaved it. So amazing. Thank you. Thank you for being that role model on how you can be remarkable. So great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to, I know we are running out of time. We've got Shreya, and then I'd like to get your closing tips, and then get Mr. Anurag to give his closing thoughts also. Go ahead, Shreya.
Hi again. So what a great story, Anu. And the question I had was actually quite similar to what you just shared. So my question is about, how do you make bragging or talking about your accomplishments not a one-off thing, but weave that into your daily life? And how do you keep doing that every day, every other day, so it doesn't feel so awkward when you do it?
So I'll just start by saying that, first of all, this is completely a mind game. Before we sort of even start talking about it, we really need to rewire our brain to think differently. And everything that we say achieve, we really need to start making that part of our daily conversation. I always make that part of the story that I'm telling, or a little snippet that I would be highlighting, and just weave it into it. And, maybe 1 or once or twice, you might think that you've just bragged, you boasted, but then it'll become a norm. It takes 21 days to become a habit. And trust me, if you work on it for 21 days, it'll not even sound bragging. It'll be your daily affair to talk about it. And people will accept you that way. And, it'll come out as a story.
Anchal,
That's
go
my way.
ahead, and then we'll take the tips from Anu, and then your closing thoughts from all three of you. Go ahead, Anchal.
Just like what would be, it's the mindset. If you know what you're doing well, might as well tell others about it. It might be very small in your mind, but you never know how big an impact it could make. So just think about that. Don't bother about who is going to think what. Anyways, people are going to think about it. Anyways, they're going to talk about it.
Right?
So it's your stage, it's your canvas. Whatever you're doing, make others believe about that, make others talk about it, and your game is done.
Awesome. Anu, from you?
Yes, I would say, there's a famous saying that, the fault lies not in our stars, but ourselves. When I say this, I actually believe in it, because a lot of times we have this ifs and buts about life. मेरे को ऐसे नहीं करना, मुझे ऐसे नहीं बोलना, लोग क्या सोचेंगे? Yeah, am I talking too much? Am I, being prudish, this and that? But I realized that, you can tell more and more about yourself when you're actually making a difference. If you feel that somewhere down there somebody is going to listen and it'll make a change in their lives. I know Anurag, I'm Aditi Chada's mother.
Yes, I remember you.
Yes.
I've been to your home and met you.
Yeah, and
it's good to be known as somebody who's doing well as mother. I have not met Aditi in many, many years. I think 4 or 5 years, but
Yes.
she was doing well when I met her.
Yes.
I feel very happy when people
Yes,
know
I
you're
wish-
Prarthana's father.
Yeah.
I feel very, very happy.
Yes, and she speaks very highly of you. So even my daughter, for that matter, like I told you, I had no child support. I brought up my children, and today my daughter, she's in Manhattan. She's working for Accenture in the IoT devices space, and she qualified from MIT. She did a startup. So Anurag knows a little bit about her. So what I'm trying to say is that, if we develop this victim mindset, है ना, उससे बाहर निकलना है. We have to come out of it, So be determined about that and don't shy away from things. You can say it very beautifully, what you have accomplished, like somebody, Urvi or Sokrati said, even the smaller things can be brought out very beautifully. Yeah. It's more about staying with people. They know that you are moving. You're like the water which keeps flowing. So you keep flowing, and keep telling about what you're doing and keep doing it and sharing, so that because somebody out there will want to know and take that cue from you and flow. That's great.
Thank you so much. I'd love to take your closing thoughts and your closing tip from Urvi, from Anchal, and of course from Anurag.
I don't have tips, it's very easy to give. I'll quickly say 2 things. One, forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. I'm cursing myself since the morning. If I'd gone 5 minutes earlier, if I didn't call this driver, the accident wouldn't have happened. I told him to turn. So one, forgive yourself. We have to. This is a minor thing. Luckily, nobody got hit badly. But we sometimes, women do a lot of things from guilt and shame. There is the world's leading researcher in Dr. Brené Brown, who did a lot of research on women's guilt. So I think you should forgive yourself. That's what I'd say. Second is very importantly is small improvements matter. I'm trying to lose weight. I've lost 6 kgs in the last 30 days. 300 grams of weight loss is also good, right? So anything that you're progressing in is professionally, personally, I would only say 2 things. Forgive yourself, learn better, learn from it. And I read this beautiful book on the flight for Saturday. I bought it Saturday morning. One of my mentees read it and he put out a review which we are publishing. And then I read this by Daniel Pink, The Power of Regret. A lot of people say fashionably, we have no regrets in life. So in simple terms, Daniel Pink is saying, if we can learn from regret, it can be a powerful tool to build a better life. Learn from your mistakes, learn from even not your mistakes, things that have happened. So regret can actually be very powerful in terms of its. So I would want to recommend that book. It's a lovely book. I also read Anthony Robbins' latest book called Life Force. which is outstanding. It's on, how thoughts, emotions, medical science, how can you be better? Of course, stem cell therapy and so on and so forth. It's just amazing. So, and last is support group. I mean, this is a great support group. Just sometime talking to people, getting an idea, getting a connect. So whatever support groups you're part of. And I think we have to be kinder to ourselves and everyone. Sometimes we're all very business-like, professional. I think we have to drop our guard a lot of times. That's whatever I'm telling you, I'm telling myself actually. So, and I'm trying to do that. So I won't pontificate more than that. And,
And as we get Urvis and Anchals, I want everybody, before they leave from here, I want one big brag in the chat box. So go for it, Urvi, and from Anchal, and from both of you, I want, and even from you, Anurag, I want one.
My brag is Durga, who's worked with me 12, 13 years, sent me a text about 15 days back saying, I see a calmer you, boss. And I'm very happy about it. And then 2 days later, I went to my friend Sudhir Mishra's birthday, and I met my friend Shivani Kashyap. She's my friend for 25 years. And Shivani said, I see a very calmer you. So I was like, I wouldn't like to brag, but I hope I stay calmer. So that's what I'm liking about myself, that I'm less hyper. And I am a hyper person. There's no question about that. In a good way, high energy, but I'm more calm.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. But ladies, I want a big, big brag in the chat box.
I'll just conclude by saying that birds born in cage think flying is an illness. So don't let those barriers hold yourself back. Always believe in yourself. Think you're remarkable. जिंदगी आसान नहीं होती, उसे आसान बनाना पड़ता है, कुछ अंदाज से, कुछ नजरअंदाज से. So अंदाज से remarkable बनाते हैं. That's what I'll conclude. Happy Women's Day, everyone.
Achal?
For me, I think one piece of thought is keep a little fire burning, however small, however little. That fire is important to live your life the way you want to. Doesn't andaz everything else. Have that andaz, have that fire in you, and you'll get where you want to go.
And here's wishing all you remarkable, remarkable women a happy, happy Women's Day. And my brag, I cannot believe that Sipping Thoughts is reaching 10 million women every single month. So more power to us. Thank you all for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, and have a great day tomorrow. And please join us tomorrow. We're having another excellent session. This time we're also talking about mind, body, purpose, and soul. So thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I want to see all the brags, guys. I'm still here.